Hello, guys. Thank you so much for coming along to my channel. It is my pleasure always to be with you here. If this is the first time you're joining me today, I am so grateful to have you. Perhaps through Google search or the referral or whatever way, maybe through Google algorithm, whatever way that you came across to my channel, I am so grateful. Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. And I would highly encourage you to click that subscribe button down there and click the notification bell and share and like and comment so that anytime I release new content, you'll be the first person to get notification on that. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you always. You guys are amazing for sharing, commenting, and liking this page. When we started, we were very few numbers, but now we are growing. So that is a good thing. And thank you. We want to make sure that this continues to be an active community of practice so that people will continue to learn and interact. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell so that anytime I release new content, you wouldn't miss any of those. Okay? You're amazing. I continue to say here on my channel, if you are in a Scrum Master and you are looking for who to work with in terms of mentoring and coaching, or even to collaborate, all you need to do is to reach out to me. You have my link over there. Just connect on my Facebook page, or shoot me an email, or connect with me on my Instagram. Whatever way, you can even send me a message, or put a comment in the comment section down below, and then I'll be able to catch and connect with you. And you have done your Scrum training, you're certified, but you are in the career transition. You're right. You just need a Scrum Master to hold you by the hand, right? I'm here. I'm just like a gadfly, right? Like Socrates of the old ancient Greek days. I'm like a gadfly. I'm here to make sure that I can work with you. It is free. All you need to do is to reach out. Okay. That is that. Now, let's get to the topic of today. What are we talking about today? I am so excited because I see this almost every day. When I listen to Scrum Masters and Agile Coach, I hear this, the idea of this psychological safety. People want to make sure that they feel safe, right? They can speak up, right? They want to make sure that they are protected, to make sure that we work as a team. So how would you as a Scrum Master build psychological safety in Agile team? How would you do that, right? What has been your experience in terms of making sure that your team members are protected? They trust you as their Scrum Master. Even you as an Agile coach, what have you done so far? I mean, everybody wants to, we want to protect our jobs, but at the same time, what does Scrum or Agile encourages us to do? Right? So we have to keep that in mind as we continue to work as Scrum Master. Because what summarizes what we do as Scrum Master in an Agile environment is to continue to help team to deliver value. And in doing that, there are some psychological safety nets that we need to put in place. And that is exactly what we are talking about today. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's dive in there. I'm going to just pull up my screen and then we can look at some sort of background story that would help to engineer and support us into this conversation. Okay, so with that said, I'm just okay. Here you go. Now, the idea of psychological safety obviously has a lot of benefits, right? Among all the benefits and value nature of this psychological safety, I think three major things as they all stand at the forefront. The one is it encourages open communication. I mean, it's quite so interesting when you are in your meetings, be it sprint planning, backlog refinement section, daily scrum, you see your team members are vying to speak up. Because of what? You have created an environment for people to talk. But it becomes so challenging, right? As a scrum master, your voice becomes so dominant in a meeting. Something is really wrong. If you're a scrum master and agile coach, anytime you're in a meeting, whatever meeting with your team, and your voice is the loudest there, perhaps you need to take a step back and think, what is really happening from the psychological point of view? It doesn't mean necessarily that this guy doesn't know what to say, but they are so conscious. They're not sure if they are safe. So you need to create an environment where it encourages open communication. And that is having some sort of psychological net. Now, it also encourages innovation. Obviously, you want people to be very innovative, to come up with strategic ideas, All right. Perhaps your team is struggling with something, but you're not sure what to do. When you create an environment where people feel so safe, now it kind of engineers and spurs and instigates that imaginative ideas where they can even come up with some sort of ideas by themselves. The third one, the last but not the least, is about continuous improvement. Obviously, I continue to say that, which I'm not sure that is the first time you might hear that Agile is not a destination, it is a journey. We are always figuring out, just like the founding fathers of Scrum guys say that they are continuing to figure out better ways of doing things. In other words, we are figuring out ways to make things better, and that is continuous integration, continuous learning. I mean to say, right? Improvement is you are finding a better way of doing something as you have done it in the past. So when you create that psychological safety, you are encouraging open communication, innovation, and continuous improvement. So as a Scrum Master, you need to keep that in mind. Now, let's get into the meat of today's conversation. I'm going to give you guys like some sort of background story. This background story could help us to get some sense about what I mean by psychological safety, or what you call the safety net. Again, this is a fictional story, okay? And perhaps if your team has been in this kind of situation, it's basically a coincidence. I have to make it so obvious right now. So this is fictional. Anyway, so let's imagine that your Scrum team, you guys are starting a sprint planning section, and that sprint plan is basically to develop a new feature for a mobile app. So this is basically a Scrum team that is mostly in terms of software development. And for these sprints, or basically for these projects, they just want to develop new feature. Now, let's just imagine that this is sprint one, okay? Now, during the sprint planning, right? So basically they have been able to have some conversation. We all understand what sprint planning is, which is, the team is kind of having a planning or having a conversation on how the next sprint is going to be like, things like that. So for this team, they are in this section, and they, kind of a new feature came up that would require some sort of integration. Integration means some sort of communication between two endpoints, perhaps trying to integrate Confluence into Microsoft Teams. This is some sort of integration. So I just want you to picture that in your mind, right? Okay. Or maybe you're using your mobile app, you want to kind of connect between one software to another software, something like that. Okay. Now, this team is kind of a request has come up to integrate, a third-party service. Now, it appears that some team members are familiar with this third service, sort of integration. Some team members are not familiar with that, right? Now, as a Scrum Master, how would you create environment for those that are not familiar with this to speak up and ask questions, right? What could you do in order to make sure that everybody are on the same page? Now, picture that in your mind. Take a step backwards. As a Scrum Master, as an Agile coach, have you been in this kind of situation before? If that is so, then let's dive into what are some sort of action plans to put in place so that people, your team members, are going to feel safe, believing in you as their Scrum Master, as their Agile coach. Now, I was able to kind of summarize, flesh it out in these key points. Now, the first thing is to establish a ground rule. So anytime, for example, if I'm having my sprint planning session, I try as much as I can at the initial point to establish or set expectation. Those expectations are what people should keep in mind as we embark on that sprint planning section. Unfortunately, most people don't consider the sprint planning as a very critical and important Scrum event. For me, it's a very important Scrum event. So I established those ground rules earlier in time before we jump into right away. Okay. And again, you should also, encourage frequent check-ins. Check-in is not, or touch point, whatever some people call it touch point, some people call it check-in, whatever terminology you use, they all mean the same thing in this context. Okay. Now, it could be maybe bi-weekly, or it could be monthly. you as a scrum master need to have that checking with your team members so that you are not just getting them to keep thinking that you are also there to support them, but it also encourages collaboration. Frequent check-ins are very important. Now, encourage diverse opinion. Obviously, people are going to, um, agree with you, disagree with each other. But at the same time, all of these diverse opinions are gearing towards a collaborative teamwork. Okay. The team members obviously realistically must not agree with you as a scrum master. They must not agree with the QA team, the dev team might not agree. All of these are all in a way of understanding each other. So you as a scrum master should keep in mind those things. The fourth is anonymous feedback. Obviously, people want to make sure that their names are not out there. When I'm conducting my sprint review session and demo with my team members, we do create what is called an anonymous survey form. Those anonymous survey form, we also, we also embed that in during the review session and ask stakeholders if they could take about 1 or 2 minutes to be able to get us those information. When you give people a sense of that anonymity, I mean, they kind of say, okay, people need people wants to say something, but they also want to make sure that their identity are not so much being brought or shedded out in the sunlight. So as a scrum master, create an environment where you can get those feedback. Okay, you can use Google anonymous form, or there are different ways you can be able to get the information. Open retrospective, right? People want to fail, safe to fail as a way to learn, right? When you are, facilitating your retrospective, create that opportunity for people to open up. Now, facilitate a constructive feedback. Okay, feedback is a huge thing. In fact, it is what is going to help you to know whether you are on course or whether you are off course. So, create a constructive feedback environment. Celebrate openness. When somebody is so open to give an opinion or make a suggestion, celebrate that. Give the person the flower, right? Give the person, if you're working in a physical environment, you can tap the person at the back just to encourage that. Whatever way you can celebrate that, by all means do. Now, provide some sort of training. In this kind of background story that I kind of share with you, you can realize that some people, some team members that might not be familiar with this kind of integrating with the third party service, they might need some sort of training. So as a scrum master, it is one of your prerogatives to encourage an environment for continuous learning. Empower team members. What I have done and what I continue to do is allowing my team members to facilitate the daily scrum. In facilitating daily scrum, I'm not doing that because I am delegating my duty as a scrum master. I am doing that in a way to empower them, to make them to understand that the scrum team is cross-functional, it is self-managed in such a way they begin to see me as a team member, not as a manager. The last but not the least is confidentiality is always important. Maintain confidentiality. Realize that not every information should be put out there for who does not require access to. Okay? No information that your supervisor should have access to, no the information that stakeholders should have access to, no information that clients or customers should have access to. Protect your team members. When you are doing this, you are also working towards making sure that your team continue to deliver value. This is about the psychological part of your duty as a scrum master. Now, I want to hear from you. What have you done in your role as a scrum master to encourage this psychological safety? If you haven't done anything in the past, perhaps you might be doing something, but you're not sure what to call it. Now I throw this at your doorstep, right? I want to hear what your thoughts are. Do you like what I have shared with you guys? If you do, I want to hear your opinion. Please like my page to encourage me, comment so that others will continue to learn. If you do have any question, maybe there is something you want me to shed more light on, all you need to do is to put that in the comment section and then we'll get those started. Okay? Thank you so much for sticking around for the few minutes, about 40 minutes. You are amazing. Thank you for the patience. Thank you for listening to me. All I'm asking, please like, comment, subscribe, and let's continue to build an active community of practice. I'll see you again next time. In the meantime, I hope you stay well. Bye for now.